I grew up in the pretty much the East Bronx, on a kind of ghetto-like street in a real Bronx neighborhood. Across the way were empty lots, and there was a little tributary of the Bronx River running through it. So in a way, I had the wild side of a kind of country life. There were animals in those fields, rabbits and skunks and wild birds, turtles, snakes. Imagine that in the Bronx. And they weren't in the apartment, they were out on the street. And my father had gone to the Art Students League when he was a young man. And my father could draw. He could take you, you could just sit down. He could either do a caricature of you real fast, or he could do a real drawing, and he would get the likeness like that. So art, in a kind of humble way, was part of our life. And there were paintings in my house that my father had made. Most of them were copies of famous works. There was an Edward Hopper. Imagine that, an Edward Hopper in my house of Sunday morning, that my father had painted. So I always had a sense that there was a kind of imagery. This is way before television, that there was imagery in the world. But one of the things that was a lasting image that probably imprinted itself on my mind like nothing else was, we lived on the ground floor, which would be 7 feet off the sidewalk. And we had windows that faced out to those empty lots. And one day, swept across the street. And I remember leaning on the windowsill, watching the rain come. And the rain came right up to my window, and it stopped. And the storm was going that way. And when it passed, the street to the left was wet. It was black macadam. And the street right in front of my window to the right was gray. And I remember standing in the window with the window frame and looking at this incredible phenomena. I probably was 9, 10 years old, maybe, and seeing it in the picture frame. And I remember thinking how beautiful it was. And it could be that that's one of those things that imprinted itself on my mind in a way that I never lost it. I see the immediacy of things, whether it's nature or human beings or energies and activities, as having some kind of peak moment when things are just, they reach a kind of beauty, unexpected beauty. And that to me is a photograph.